and just do not, they hang out with their other 75 Asian kids who go to, go to the mall together, take a whole, and you guys know what I'm talking about, right? That's its own, thing. And so, I don't think choosing either or is a good idea. Obviously, it's very tricky because how do you go about finding the middle ground? So, do you fight, or do you submit? And again, the middle ground. Now, going back to female empowerment, a lot of the things that Dr. Huck, Dr. French, and Dr. Little said really meant a lot to me because, again, in a white society, Asian males are seen as weak and inferior and feminine, right? And unfortunately, the way American society is, and in a lot of societies, feminine means inferior, right? And so the advice and the things that they said really stuck to me, and these are 4 points. Again, when dealing with situations like this, the majority of the time, I think it's really important just to rise above it. Dr. Little was saying that they genuinely don't know that sometimes that what they're doing is unacceptable. And I've experienced that. There was a person at this school who I know is a genuinely good guy. He's from Kansas, okay? And I'm pretty sure Kansas doesn't have many Asians. And he even told me, you're like the first Asian guy I've ever seen. And sorry, that was not supposed to. And that ended up being like a white impression of shit. And he was like, you're not an Asian. You're practically white. And like obviously, whoa, hold on a second. You're like, but again, at the same time, he didn't know any better, and I can't chastise him for just at least he's at least taken a step towards acceptance and realizing that I'm someone who's just beyond that stereotype. So that's nice. But again, it's being able to just kind of choosing your battles and knowing exactly when to get upset, and I'll get more into kind of how to communicate that. But yeah, a lot of the time they don't really know that what they're saying is hurtful. You have to do the job even better. In this case, for Asians, we just have to live up to the expectations and to work together. This is going back to pretty much what I was saying with the interracial competition with Asian males, right? We really have to, and I'm a victim to this too. Sometimes I'll see another Asian person, I'm like, whoa, who is this guy? No. I'm the Asian male that's from place. It's testosterone is a terrible thing, really, but this is something that we have to really, work on it, and it's funny because everyone, this is with female empowerment, everyone just like the stereotype that women are sensitive and emotional, but so are we as guys, right? How sensitive are our egos? Yeah. All right, so. How do we kind of go about this? And again, this is how I personally feel. There's so many ways you can go about it. There are people who do different methods and they are very successful with it. I can't say I'm completely successful because this is a realization and a constant thing I'm working on. But how I see people, this is really all of us, right? And I think that we all have a good sixth sense and a natural ability to pick up when people are insecure or uncomfortable with themselves or their environment. And unfortunately, as human nature, a lot of people tend to, when they pick up on that, they actually like to push them down even further. I'd like to give the benefit of the doubt and think that most people don't know that they're doing it. It's kind of within their own insecurities, and it just makes them feel better. Because when you push someone down, it kind of raises you up a little bit, right? But in my experience, I think it's best not to take these people seriously. Again, most aren't really aware of their effects, and those who are, they're just losers, and those are people that you really shouldn't waste your time on. I've spent way too much time focusing on those losers. So, finding a reasonable middle ground and communicating with others about your perspective and building on that. Obviously, Ross talk, I'm big on communication, and that is really, I think, the most important thing, is to really try to communicate exactly how you feel and what you're doing, and what the other person's doing that might be hurting you. Again, with Dr. Little's experience, she was talking to her superior who said a very hurtful comment, and she brought it up very well and very professionally. And he was sincerely sorry about what he did, and he really just didn't know. And it was funny because, well, not funny, but he continued as though even though he was very sorry how she felt, he still didn't get it, right? And this is going to be something that we have to just keep going for. I have here just about being consistent, right? And so what can we do is, first of all, I think we have to know ourselves really well. Know ourselves, and obviously as we get older, we learn more and more things, and it's a growing process. But if we know that certain things hurt us, We have to be able to reason whether or not it's okay and it's reasonable to be hurt by those things. And to find a balance between our ways and of our culture and the American culture. And everyone kind of has their own ratios, right? I think being genuine is a very important thing. People can sense fakeness. Again, when I mentioned the Asian boys who join white frats who just completely expel it, you know how fake that is. Everyone sees through it. And that's not something that's respected. And it actually just makes it look worse. And again, yes, with consistency, it's hard because, you know, I'm kind of saying that, oh, you know, as the racial minority, we have to be the bigger person, and we have to be able to tell, you know, it's the white people can do whatever they want, we just have to deal with it. That's not exactly what I'm saying. And I'll get into how, if you want to go ahead and fight for equality and you're not an Asian person, how do you go about that? But consistency is really important because, you know, you can, for a week, you can go ahead and say, oh, you know what, like, hi, your racial jokes are okay, or whatever, and laugh it off, and then one day you can really snap and beat the crap out of somebody for squinting their eyes, right? Like, that's not consistent, right? And as a whole race, we have to be consistent about something, right? Because one bad person can just really ruin it for the rest of us. All right, so if you're not Asian, or, you know, if you're a majority of some sort, and you want to be able to kind of find a way of fighting for equality, how do you go about that? I think it's important to understand that and accept that you don't know that, you know, like, yeah, it's true, you don't know, and be open to knowing about what other people's cultures are about. Get ready to probably offend someone and let them know that you're not trying to offend them. Again, with my friend who was in 7th, who left, you know, again, he was very open about the fact he didn't know, and it was my job to know that he wasn't trying to be offensive, and it was also his job to let me know that I'm not trying to be offensive, you know. All right, so that's my talk on race. I'm going to finish it off with just talking about food now. This is the last little snippet. Asian food is so good. It's so good, and I'm generalizing, but it is. I think every Asian place is good. I mean, I have it from 6 different areas here. Again, the 4 states are probably your best bet to find good Asian food, unless you want to go directly to the country. I would recommend going to these places and trying it. Take a Korean food. Okay, this is absolutely something you have to try. Okay, and here's a little picture of me. This is how good the food is.